So in the last lecture we had a basic introduction to electropneumatic circuits, right? But before we actually start understanding the electropneumatic circuits, we have to understand a few other concepts. So only after understanding these concepts can we be able to solve the electropneumatic circuits, right? So what are the concepts that we have to understand? See, first of all, we have to see what is a relay and how it works. Then we have to see what is meant by normally open and normally closed switches. Now, when we understand normally open and normally closed, we will also understand what is functionally closed and functionally open. After that, after we understand all this, we will go and see what are relay logic circuits and how to draw these relay logic circuits. Now, see, this relay logic circuits is very important. Why is it important? Because these relay logic circuits are used both in your electropneumatics also, and afterwards when you go to PLC programming, there also the basics required is of relay logic circuit, right? And the last thing that we will be seeing is what is meant by valve solenoids. Okay, it is a simple concept, the last one, but we will be seeing all these points one by one. Okay, so first of all we will start with what is a relay. Now before telling you what a relay is, I will just like you to remember what is meant by transistor. The simplest kind of a transistor that you must have studied in your BEE in first year, right? See, how does a transistor work? In transistor there are three ends, right? There is base, there is collector, and there is emitter, right? Generally this is your base, this can be collector, this can be emitter, right? Now current can flow from emitter to collector or collector to emitter. It depends on which kind of junction it is, right? Which kind of biasing it is. But basically what happens, see, basically your transistor works like a switching device. Okay, see, it is very important. If you understand the working of transistor, you will immediately understand the working of a relay. A relay is kind of a bit complicated kind of a transistor. Okay, so see, how does a transistor work? See, in transistor, whatever load you want to control, see, imagine there is a battery over here and there is a bulb over here. Okay, there is this bulb. This is how we have connected the circuit. Now what happens initially when there is no current going to the base? When there is no current going to the base, what happens? The emitter and collector are not connected to each other. Okay, the current cannot flow from emitter to collector. When there is no current through base, the current cannot flow from emitter to collector. In this case, what happens? The bulb does not glow. The bulb is off. Okay, but as soon as you send some current to the base, what happens? Because base receives some amount of current, it connects the emitter to the collector. It connects the emitter to the collector, so the current can flow through the emitter to the collector. The current flows from emitter to collector. Because of this entire circuit now becomes closed. In electrical, closed means on. In electrical, closed means on and open means off, right? This you should know. So what happens when the circuit gets closed? The current starts flowing and the bulb starts glowing. So basically what are we doing? We are controlling the current that is sent to the base. What are we controlling? We are controlling the current sent to the base. And by controlling the current sent to the base, what are we indirectly controlling? We are indirectly controlling the current to the bulb, right? So base is in no way connected to the bulb. There is no relationship between base and the bulb, but we are sending the current to the base and we are controlling the operation of the bulb. So in this way, the transistor acts like a switching element. Okay, it acts like a switching element. It helps us to turn the bulb on and off. It helps us to switch the bulb on and off. This same function is done by relays. Okay, This same function is done by relays. Now see, what is the construction of a relay? The construction of a relay is very simple. See, it consists of a solenoid over here. Now by now you should know what a solenoid is. A solenoid consists of a soft iron core. On it there is a wire wound around it. Okay, there is a wire wound around it. Now what happens? See, over here there are two wires. These wires are which control the current to this through this solenoid. Okay, over here there is a metal wire kind of a metal plate kind of a thing. Okay, over here there is a terminal. This terminal is known as the common terminal. Okay, there is an electric point over here, you can connect other things. This is known as the common terminal. This common terminal is connected to this plate. Okay, now this plate is initially connected to something else. Okay, over here there is this terminal. Okay, for now let us call this terminal terminal 1. I will tell you the official name of this terminal afterwards. For now let us call this terminal 1. In your relay there is also another terminal. Let us call this terminal 2. Okay, in a relay there are total 5 connections, minimum 5 connections. Out of that I have shown you 3. See, this is 1, this is 2. Let us call this common one 3. Okay, and there are 2 more connections which I have shown over here. This is connection 4 and connection 5. Now what happens? See, currently I will remove this 4 and 5, but remember these are the 4th and 5th connection. This is the 4th connection, this is the 5th connection. Now see what happens. Over here we have our battery, and over here we have a switch kind of a thing. Okay, this can be a physical switch, but in most cases this is not a physical switch. This is a signal which is sent from the controlling element. Okay, but right now let us say this is a switch. Okay, see, when this switch is open, there is no current flowing through the solenoid. Because this switch is open, there is no current flowing through the solenoid. Okay, and just one more thing, extremely sorry, over here there is a spring kind of a thing. Okay, let us say over here there is also a spring. There is also a spring. Okay, so initially there is no current flowing through the solenoid. So there is no current flowing through the solenoid. So what happens? There is no attraction, and so this common terminal is connected to terminal number 1. Initially this is also made up of metal. This is also a conducting element. So what happens? Common is connected to 1. So if I put a circuit over here, say if I put a circuit like this over here, what is going to happen? Initially when there is no current through this coil, the solenoid will be off. Because common is connected to 1, the bulb will glow. The bulb will glow. So this is how it will happen, right? So I will just remove all this for just time being. Okay, but what happens when I send electricity into this solenoid? What happens when I turn this switch on? Imagine that I have turned this switch on. As soon as I turn this switch on, electricity flows through the solenoid. As electricity flows through the solenoid, what happens? This solenoid becomes an electromagnet. This electromagnet attracts this metal plate. Because this electromagnet attracts this metal plate, what happens? See, the diagram becomes like this. The solenoid has attracted the metal plate. Because of that, the metal plate bends. It comes in contact. Right now I am just showing like this only. This is a very simplified diagram, but basically the metal plate comes in contact with the connection number 2. Initially when there was no current flowing through this, the common was connected to connection number 1. But as soon as current starts flowing through the solenoid coil, what happens? The common port or connection number 3 gets connected to what? Gets connected to port number 2. So what happens? Initially I had shown over here there was a battery, there was a bulb over here, right? This bulb will what happen now? This bulb will turn off. But if this same bulb is connected over here, at that time that bulb will be on. So basically see what is this relay doing? This relay is changing the switching positions. This relay is changing the switching positions. Initially what happens? Initially the common port is connected to port number 1. When there is no current through the solenoid, common port is connected to port number 1, connection number 1. But as soon as I send electricity through the solenoid, what happens? Common is connected to connection number 2. So what it means? When no electricity, common is connected to connection number 1. When electricity is passed, what happens? Common gets connected to connection number 2. That is why, see, when there is no electricity, at that time common is connected to 1. In this case, see, okay, till now I hopefully this must all be clear to you till now at least. Okay, now to understand what are the official names of this, we will move forward and we will see basically this is known as NC and this is known as NO. This is normally closed, normally open. I will explain that to you in some time, but hopefully at least the working of relay should be understood to you. What happens? Basically we control the current flowing through this solenoid, and by controlling the current flowing through this solenoid, we control which end of the connection is joined. That is, this common connection is connected to which end, whether it is connected to 1 or whether it is connected to 2. So that is what the relay does, right? Now we have to understand what is NC and NO. See, you must have drawn this kind of a circuit many times in your school time, right? There is this kind of a circuit, right? Now see what is happening. This is a switch. What is this switch doing? See, when this switch is off, it does not allow the current to flow. Does not allow current to flow. So this kind of a switch, which in off position does not allow a current to flow, is known as normally open switch. It is known as normally open switch. Means what? Initially when we are not pushing the switch, when we are not turning on the switch, what is happening? It does not allow the current to flow. This kind of a switch is known as normally open switch. Most of the switches that we see in our life are what? Are normally open switches. But when we push this switch, that is, the switch becomes on, it allows the current to flow, right? So there are two positions of the switch. The first position of the switch is its base position, which is the position when it is not turned on. Then there is another position when the switch itself is turned on, right? So the base position of the switch is known as its normal position. When the switch is in off condition, when we are not pushing the switch, that is known as its normal condition. And when we are pushing the switch, rather we can, for now let us say it is a push button or a switch, that when we have pushed the switch, it is in its functional state. Okay, so each switch has two states. These states are normal state and functional state. When the switch is not pushed, it is in normal state, and when the switch is pushed, it is in functional state. So how does this work? Initially when the switch is not pushed, it is in normal state, and in normal state what is the condition of the circuit? The circuit is open. Hence, this kind of a switch is known as normally open switch. And normally open switch, when pushed, becomes functionally closed. Because when we close this switch, what is going to happen? When we close this switch, the current will flow and the current will flow and the bulb will glow. Right? Bulb will glow. So normally open converts to functionally closed. Now there can be another type of circuit also. In another type of circuit, the switch that we used is known as a NC switch. In case of NC switch, initially the switch is connected. Initially, when no other output effort has been put on this, the circuit is closed. Okay, so in normal position, when the button has not been pushed, the circuit itself is closed. So this is known as normally closed switch, that when no one is pushing on it, it is in closed state. But as soon as someone pushes on it, what happens? The circuit becomes open and the bulb stops glowing. So normally closed becomes functionally open. Okay, so this is the NOFC, NCFO. Normally open means what? When there is no input, the circuit is open. As soon as there is input, the circuit becomes closed. So NO becomes FC. In NC, what happens? When there is no input, the circuit is closed. But as soon as an input is given, the circuit becomes open. So NC becomes FO. So this is how the system works. This is NO and NC. So from this we can see why I was calling this first one NC and second one NO. See, in this what is happening? When no electricity is going to the solenoid, which is connected? The first one is connected. So when there is no electricity, the first one has a closed circuit. See, the first one has a closed circuit over here. So when there is no electricity, the first one has closed circuit. Hence it is called as NC. Whereas in case of second one, when there is no electricity, the circuit is open. When there is no electricity, when there is no input, the circuit is open. Hence this position is known as NO. Thus every relay has several different connections. As I told you, every relay has 5 main connections. What are the 5 main connections of the relay? First of all, there are 2 connections for the coil. 2 connections for the coil, right? We just saw the 2 connections for the coil over here, right? Just give me a minute. See these 2 connections, 4 and 5. These are the 2 connections of the coil. If they are connected to each other, then current will flow through the coil. If they are not connected to each other, then the current will not flow through the coil. The third connection is known as common. The fourth connection, which is when no current is passing through the coil, which is connected to common, is known as NC. And the fifth connection is known as NO. So these are the 5 connections of a relay, right? So how does the relay work? Again, I will tell you, there is basically a solenoid coil. This solenoid coil has 2 connections. We control whether or not the electricity will flow through this solenoid coil. Okay, then there is one connection. On that connection there is a metal plate, right? This metal plate is connected to another connection in its base position. Okay, we will call this 1, we will call this 3. There is another connection over here which is initially not connected to the plate. Over here there is a spring, right? Why is the spring over here? When the solenoid is turned off, again this plate should be pushed upwards, no? Otherwise, because of gravity, it will stay down only. So to push it back upwards, we use this spring. Okay, so when current is flowing through the coil, remember, when current is flowing through the coil, what happens? The coil becomes an electromagnet. It attracts this metal plate, and because of the attraction of metal plate, it bends, and connection number 2 from NO, it becomes FC. And when there is no current, what happens? This spring pushes this metal plate upwards and we are in NC. Okay, so this is how a relay works. Now see, relays, before the invention of electronics and all these components, relays were used extensively in industries. Okay, so these people, the people who are making these circuits used to call these circuits as relay circuits. Okay, see, relay circuits are very easy to understand, they are not difficult. How to draw a relay circuit? See, whenever you want to draw a relay circuit, imagine your normal circuit, the normal circuit which you always draw. See, there is a battery, there is a switch, there is some sort of load, let that load be bulb, and this completes your circuit. So to convert this normal circuit into relay circuit, to convert this normal circuit into relay circuit, there are three steps. What are the three steps? First step, cut the circuit through the battery. What does this mean? कि take this circuit and cut it through the battery. मतलब क्या, ऐसा समझो कि ये सर्किट को मैंने बैटरी के बीच में से काट दिया. ठीक है. After I cut this circuit, then what is the next step? Straighten the circuit. Straighten the circuit. So how will I straighten the circuit? See, means I have to make this into a straight line. So how will the circuit look? This will be positive, this will be my switch, this will be my bulb, and this will be my negative end. Right? This is how the circuit will look when I straighten it. And the third step is rotate clockwise by 90 degree. So just rotate it clockwise by 90 degree. So how will this circuit look? This circuit will look like this. Okay. If you remember from the previous lecture, this is how our circuit was looking. See, this is the positive end. In all electropneumatic circuits, the positive end is plus 24 volt. And the negative end is either 0 volt or we call it ground. Okay, so this is how relay circuits are made, right? So if there are parallel circuit over here, see, if it is parallel, how will it look? Because we have cut it, it will still look like this only, right? And in this diagram it will look like this, right? So this is how the entire circuit is drawn. So basically right now I have explained to you what a relay is. So how, see, what all I have explained, what is a relay and how it works, what is meant by normally open and normally closed, what is meant by functionally closed and functionally open. Normally open is a type of, see, NO and NC are types of switches. NO means what? When nothing is acting on it, the circuit is open. When something starts acting on it, NO becomes FC. NO becomes functionally closed. NC is what? Normally closed. When there is no force acting on it, the circuit is closed. Circuit closed means what? Electricity is flowing. And when a force is acting on that switch, what happens? NC becomes FO, functionally open. Current stops flowing. Okay? And then I explained to you how to draw a relay logic circuit. We will look into these relay logic circuits in detail in a few minutes, but that is how relay logic circuits look. Up there is plus 24 volts, down there is ground, and all the elements that have to be connected are connected like this in between. Okay, so I will explain each and everything to you in a few minutes. Okay, and last, what is meant by valve solenoid? See, basically when you have those 5x2 direction control valves, you have to control the position of the 5x2 direction control valve, you have to control its switching, right? So to control its switching, we use solenoids, right? This is the symbol. This is my 5x2 direction control valve, and over here there is this solenoid and there is this solenoid, right? This is the symbol in what? This is the symbol in your pneumatic circuit, right? In case of whenever you are drawing this solenoid in your electrical circuit, see this solenoid has electrical wiring over this na. When electricity will pass through this wiring, only at that time the solenoid will turn on. So the symbol for that is what? Symbol for that is this. Okay, this is your wall solenoid. We will see all of this in 1 minute when we draw the A plus A minus circuit. Okay, so hopefully at least this much is clear to you, right? So now let us look at our A plus A minus circuit once again, right? So in our A plus A minus circuit, see if you remember, let us look at this diagram. I will draw the diagram once again. I will explain to you each and every step how you have to create the pneumatic circuit, how you have to create the electrical part, how you have to create the pneumatic part. Okay, so I will just close this for now. Okay, you will create a new. Whenever you are given an electro-pneumatic circuit, the first step is to find out how many cylinders are there in the circuit. Let us say they have given us a simple circuit of A plus A minus. So in this circuit there is only one cylinder, cylinder A. So we need only one cylinder. So we have drawn only one cylinder. We will remove the cushioning effect. Okay, there is only one cylinder. What is the name of this cylinder? The name of this cylinder is cylinder A. This is cylinder A, right? To control cylinder A, what do we require? We require a 5/2 direction control valve. To control a double acting cylinder, we require a 5/2 direction control valve, right? Because this is a electro-pneumatic circuit, the actuation will be both solenoid. It will be solenoid on both the sides. There will be compressor, there will be exhaust. Here is my compressor. Here is my exhaust. Right? Now there are solenoids. What is the naming convention for solenoid? This will be Ka plus. Why Ka plus? K because it is a solenoid, and when this solenoid is activated, what is the motion of the piston? A plus, that is why it is Ka plus. Similarly, this is Ka minus. Then we can have limit switches. Let us call it A0. You can also call it A1, A2, no problem. That is also perfectly acceptable. Okay, but I will call it by the standard thing A0 and A1, right? So A0 tells us that the piston is completely inside, and A1 tells us that the piston is completely outside. Now this completes your pneumatic part of the electro-pneumatic circuit. This completes the pneumatic part of your electro-pneumatic circuit. Now the only thing that is remaining to draw is the electrical part. The only thing that is remaining to draw is the electrical part. Now that electrical circuit is in the form of relay circuit. Okay, the electrical part of electro-pneumatic circuit is in the form of relay circuit. So what did I tell you? In relay circuit, what is the first thing? The first thing is that you have positive voltage up and negative voltage below. So you have a 24 volt at the top and 0 volt at the bottom, right? So this is what is the first thing that happens. Now see, I will just show you a simple circuit. I won't show you what is the latching circuit. Latching circuit will be explained in the next lecture. Right now see, what should happen? When A0 sensor is sensed, what should happen? The piston should move forward. Okay, so we will take a switch. We will take this switch, right? This is a switch. We will connect it like this. Okay, and we will call this A0. This is your proximity sensor switch. Okay, so whenever proximity sensor is sensed, it is in on. See, currently it is in on condition. Why? Because the piston is at A0. If I call this A1, see, it is in off position. Okay, but because the piston is currently at A0 position, it is in on condition. Okay, and I will do what? I will connect here the valve solenoid Ka plus. Ka plus. Okay, so what is this circuit telling us? Ki see, whenever A0 sensor is sensed, electric current will flow from 24 volt to 0 volt. So electric current will flow through the Ka plus valve. If electric current flows through the Ka plus valve, this position of the valve will get active. If this position of the valve gets active, compressed air will go to the left side and the piston will move forward. Similarly, what we can do, we can create another circuit over here. This also has what? This also is connected to 24 volt at the top and ground at the bottom. Here it is what? Ka minus, and it is A1. So when the piston moves completely outwards and it touches A1, what should happen? A1 will get closed. Because A1 gets closed, Ka minus will get electricity. So this right position will become active. Compressed air will go to the right side and piston A will move inwards. Okay. See, this is what is happening. As soon as I turn it on, I will just pause it. Okay, initially let me bring it to initial position. See what happens initially. Ka plus, because see, initially what is the condition? Piston is at A0 position. So because piston is at A0, A0 closes. As soon as A0 closes, what happens? Ka plus gets electricity. Ka plus gets electricity, left position of the valve becomes active. Now compressed air will go to the left side. Compressed air is going to the left side. Piston is moving outwards. As soon as the piston moves even a little bit outward, A0 opens. Because of that, electricity to Ka plus stops, and because of that, the electricity to Ka plus stops. But compressed air keeps on going over here, so piston will keep on moving till it reaches A1. As soon as it reaches A1, what happens? This circuit closes, so Ka minus will get electricity. As soon as Ka minus will get electricity, see, Ka minus will get activated and this right position of the valve will get active. See, right position of the valve got active, so compressed air is going to the right side. Because compressed air is going to the right side, piston will move inwards. See, as soon as the piston moves even a little bit inwards, A1 gets deactivated. Right? Now the piston will move completely inward. A0 will get activated. Again Ka plus will get activated. Piston will move outwards. And this thing will continue. It will keep on happening. A0 will get activated, so Ka plus will happen. A1 will get activated, so Ka minus will happen. And this is how this circuit can be made. Okay, this is a simplified circuit, but it is 100% acceptable in your exam. I will show you what a latching circuit is and what you can do for drawing circuits with two cylinders in the next lecture. Okay, so thank you.